Dog days of August cool sales activity, but expand opportunities for buyers. Meanwhile, interest rates have dropped down to about 6.25%, which is an 11-month low. Are we going to have a little run of activity here coming into our typically slower fall and winter season? Let's get into it. Here we go. Number of homes for sale throughout the entire MLS region, 25 out of 27 counties that the MLS covers, saw a double-digit year-over-year increase. 6 counties with the highest were Ferry, which is a small population county, 63%. Snohomish County, just to the north of where I am, King County, 50%. Jefferson, 47%. Clallam, 46%. Then it kind of trails off. Those are some massive, massive increases in inventory, but that's based on a lack of affordability. Prices haven't come down accordingly, and mortgage rates haven't come down that much. They're starting to. We're going to get to that. They're starting to, but not enough to really, change to have an impact on the meter. Number of closed sales decreased by 5%, 7% year over year, 5.7% year over year. That is not shocking. Not shocking at all. Because you've got a situation where rates really haven't come down. You've got a bunch of activity out there and people are kind of waiting. They're waiting to see, hey, what's going to go on? Do I put my home on the market now? Can I get the home that I want on the other end if I sell my home now? A lot of people are doing interest rate buy downs. We're seeing that pretty consistently as a strategy. Marry the home, don't marry the mortgage. Meaning, buy the home, do an interest rate buy down on the front end, meaning you buy that interest rate down. So instead of having a 6.75% rate, you've got a 6% rate, making it much more affordable. And then when rates do come down, you can do a refinance, lock something in more permanent. 15 out of 27 counties saw a decrease in the number of closed sales year over year because there just hasn't been a ton going on. Activity has been slim. Buyers have kind of pulled back. There's been this rates dropped last year, and then we had economic news that came out that caused those rates to go back up. But let's talk about it. And at the same time, median sales price for residential homes and condos sold in 2025 was $650, a slight increase of 0.8%. Prices haven't dropped off enough to have people jump into the market and say, hey, this is affordable. With these rates and with these prices, they've still gone up. And it's because you've got enough buyers to still nominally drive these markets in an upward direction. Granted, 0.8%, but that's up. You're not going down. That is the point. You're not going down. So let's look at what happened with mortgage rates. Mortgage rates plunged to 11-month low on Fed rate cut hopes because mortgage rates are based on perception. What is the Fed gonna do this fall and winter? Well, now we're pretty convinced that they're going to drop them. By how much is the question. If the Fed drops them, a quarter point or an eighth of a point, and the market is expecting, a half point drop, then rates will go up. If the Fed cuts them more so, then that indicates that the Fed thinks that the economic news out there is going to be negative, meaning we need to help the housing market out, help things out in general. Let's drop those rates. Let's ease that borrowing. And many lenders may quote in the high 5% range. So in the stuff that I looked at this morning, I was seeing, and I reached out to a mortgage broker, Dan Chapman, and he quoted me basically 6.25%. I think that's what he was talking about. Bond yields tumbled as the weaker than expected jobs report raised expectation for rate cuts from the Federal Reserve. That sent average rate on the 30-year fixed mortgage to the lowest level since October of 2024. Steep drop could help shake up the housing market, which has seen a dearth of activity. Yes, a dearth is what that would be called. 6.125% to 6.25% is what Dan's quoting. 6.125% to 6.25%. That is a big drop. And that's been, I'm recording this for you on a Monday, September the 8th. And what happened was the jobs report came out Let's see if we've got it here. Bond yields tumbled on Friday because remember the mortgage rates follow the 10-year Treasury bonds as weaker than expected jobs report raised expectations for rate cuts from the Federal Reserve. So jobs reports came out with 22,000 jobs created and they were expecting 75,000. So it went in the wrong direction, meaning the economy is not as strong as we think it is. Therefore, and this is one of those key indicators, let's prop the market up a little bit. Let's give it a little bit of a scooch. Let's give it a little bit of a gasoline on the fire to get things going. And so then the 10-year Treasury yield dived 50 or 10 basis points to 4.076, the lowest since April. So that's dropping. Mortgage rates themselves have dropped. Will this give us the activity that we've been missing for 3+ years now? Now, it's certainly not going to hurt whether or not buyers will correlate a drop in mortgage rate to, hey, now is when we can afford to buy a home. That's the great unknown. I've seen a bunch of studies saying that 6% mortgage rates, we get under 6% mortgage rates, we'll have an entire sector of buyers who bought at significantly higher than that are now going to come through and do a refinance, lock in their low rate. And then that creates some stability in the market because now you got a bunch more people who are like, okay, we're all squared away. And then buyers come in and they feel like they can go ahead and, take stuff down, purchase things because the affordability factor is there and they can purchase it with a 30-year fixed mortgage with something with a 5 in front of it instead of something with a high 7 in front of it or possibly an 8 in front of it like we had there for a second. And we're all like, oh, good Lord, these mortgage rates are pretty high. So we're getting close to that 6%. Will that be enough to nudge the market along? Gonna have to see. That it certainly can't hurt. Will it be will this be the savior? We could be on a little bit of a run here, folks, because I think what we're seeing is an indication the Fed definitely is going to drop their rate, their federal fund rate, which markets typically go look at that and go, okay, that's the direction the market's heading in. Let's mimic that. Mortgage rates start to drop and then buyers start to jump into the marketplace and we get a little bit more liquidity in the marketplace than we've had because prices have been so high on top of mortgage rates that with those pricing, nobody can afford a damn home. Got that. And that's where we've kind of been. So that's it for this month update, but things are heading in the right direction for now. Stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed. We'll talk about it again next month. See where we're at. I'll see you then. Again, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell so we get notified when we drop this content. And if you enjoyed this video, love to have you smash that like button. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.